Hello and a warm welcome to this special that is often brought to you by Kaya Biz here on Kaya 959. I'm Gugulethu Mfupi, and as you would know, every Monday to Thursday we broadcast the best business show in the country, bringing you insights between 6 and 8 p.m. every Monday to Thursday on the latest business developments, what's happening in the world of markets, and of course, where we get to speak to business leaders to pick their brains on industry insights and, most importantly, their views on leadership, success, and some details into how they manage to run their businesses even during difficult times as we're experiencing in our economy. And today is no different for our very own and special CEO Plug, which is a special edition of our Pivot Point feature. We bring you a conversation with someone who is a pioneer within the world of IT, software, as well as quality assurance. Someone who aids and facilitates companies to make sure that they're actively being part of the digital transition. And not just businesses themselves, but even capacitating them with the human capital by offering and sharing skills development programs with youth, professionals, and of course, individuals like you and I who happen to be entrepreneurial. So today I'm really excited to introduce my guest to you today. Joining me in studio here at our headquarters at Kaya 959, Rofhiwa Netshitangani, who joins us today as the Managing Director of Rofane Software. Such a pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you, and thank you to your listeners.
Really excited for this conversation. And I must say, like many of the insights that we look to share when we speak to entrepreneurs like yourself, we do a lot of research, we Google, we double check, we take a look at the insights, and there isn't much that's fully understood about how you run your business. I'm intrigued for you just to share more as to what it is that you really do within the software quality assurance space.
Okay, so Rofane Consulting provide software testing services, quality assurance, project management, as well as business analysis in the IT space. That's in a nutshell what we do.
I think I'm smart, but sometimes I get lost in the technical jargon and lingo. And I think we're all well aware that software, part of programs that we typically open up on our laptops, on our cell phones.
Yeah.
But give us some insight as to how it is that you assist businesses with software development, testing, assurance, because it's really quite intricate, right?
So as you may be aware, in our world today, there's a lot of increase in digital transformation. Big corporates are always developing systems. It's a fast-paced environment. So that's where we come in as a company to actually assist in educating our clients, assist them with the skills that will be able to assist them in their project delivery.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, that's what Rofane does. So we provide them with skill resources based on what the customer need and the type of project that they're working on.
100%.
Yeah.
This sounds like it's different depending on the industry that you're in, but also remains very critical, right? Because many South African businesses want to be locally relevant and globally competitive.
Yeah.
So how have you, what's the experience been like? Because your business has been in operation for just over 5 years now.
Yep. So maybe just a bit of background from me. I have been working in the software quality assurance space for a number of years now. So I think based on that, I've worked for multiple financial services. I've been in different roles. My last role as an employee was running a team of software testers as software test manager. So I've always wanted to, make a different impact the lives of the young South African, do more and be able to be part of growing the South African economy. Hence the decision to want to start this organization called Rofane Consulting. And
Definitely. You've had quite a journey, and I'm already intrigued because it makes me wonder where your love and your passion for IT actually started. So way before you got into corporate, the background into studying it, and now even becoming an entrepreneur, leading your own consultancy, where did the passion for the computer, as our parents would put it, actually came from?
Actually, when I grew up, my dad, or should I say my parents, wanted me to be a doctor. And
so you were really clever then, Rofhiwa. Hey, maths and science.
Maths and science. So I think my dad was quite disappointed when I came up to Joburg. I actually grew up in Venda. Did all my primary and secondary school in Venda. Then I came up to Joburg. So when I got here, I always had wanted to know, how do you get that computer to be working? How do you do that? Back in the days, my dad worked in a financial space as well, but as an advisor. So he would bring home a laptop, and a lot of time during the day he would be writing his business on papers. And when he gets home, he wanted me to assist him just to type and capture the applications. So I started, falling in love with that. I didn't tell that to anyone yet because I thought I would disappoint him, because he just wanted me to go in other directions. So when I came to Joburg, I instead registered for IT.
Wow, that's quite a journey and quite an experience, and I think really exciting because you knew it was something you were passionate about. You ended up studying for it and managed to build a career out of it. But it's also difficult to tap into industries that we typically not exposed to. Right? And what was that journey like for you?
So when I completed, I actually started as a junior person in one of the banks in South Africa, and I think testing is something that is not well known. I mean, even in my studies, testing is just a module. In it's not something that is big. So as the bank was starting to formalize testing, I was one of the people that raised their hand up to say, I want to go into that space. From then, there was quite a lot of training that we had to undergo until I get to where I am. And I just grew from there. I remember there was a time when I was being interviewed for a testing role, and the then person that was interviewing me asked me, what do you want to be? What do you see yourself in 5 years? I couldn't answer the question. I said to him, dude, the only thing I'm going to do is just to work, and you're going to tell me where to go from here. But I'm all yours. I want to work.
I like that, because it also does show that, you actually plan as you go along, but you had a really strong level of interest within the career path that you chose. Let's get back to what it is that Rofane does, and particularly talking about testing. And I'm keen for us to actually talk about, what testing actually entails, because many of us think testing software, is it a form of hacking and de-hacking a system and then tightening up the security? Just for some of us who are not within the IT space.
I'll let me start it this way. And I think it might talk to who needs, where are those services required. You might have seen that a lot of our clients are big corporates. The reason for that is that, as I've mentioned earlier, digital transformation, fast-paced development. The last thing that the bank wants to do is to release a new application, and when it gets to the users, it's actually not working.
Rofhiwa, what you've described is really intriguing, because you meet the needs of businesses as and where they are in different sectors, which definitely means that you need to evolve. I'm keen to understand more about your journey, because you didn't wake up and become an entrepreneur, right? You actually worked as an employee for a number of financial services institutions, and I guess this is also where the love and passion for IT was entrenched in you.
Yes. So when I completed my varsity, I started working at one of the financial services. While I was working there, people were talking about this testing, and I wanted to know more about it. So I actually applied for a role there, but I didn't know anything. My manager gave me an opportunity, and I started off as a tester. And I think from there, I just grew from being a junior to a senior. Then I left and I moved around quite a bit to different organizations. And I think while I was doing that, I started to realize that there's actually more into software testing, because there's different fields within the software quality assurance space. So yeah, that's what got me to where I am, and a need to want to start my own business.
I find this so interesting, right? Even the concept of testing. For many of us who are not in the IT field, we're probably thinking, test? What does that actually mean? Does it mean that you hack into systems, check their credibility? Give us some detail.
So, like I was saying earlier on, we were talking about digital transformation. new applications always coming up. This might be in a financial space, in any other big organizations that are always developing new applications. That's where we come in. So our main focus is to actually make sure that the system that gets deployed into the production doesn't have any errors or bugs. As in our language, we call them bugs.
So when you constantly see that loading sign on an app, or a page is not loading properly, that those are the things that you fix.
Yes, it goes deeper than that, because I'll give you an example. Take an online application where two people are logging in, they're performing their transactions. Testing goes deeper than that, wherein we test the load, the performance. How does the actual application perform when there's 5 people logged in? How does it perform when you've got 10 million people that are logged in?
So that the system or website doesn't crash.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's to avoid those type of errors, and just to make sure that there are any other bugs or any other issues when the application is being used by the mass market.
So here's an interesting concept. A lot of our listeners, when it's month end, always complain about particular banks on social media, right?
Yes.
So you're the guy who makes sure that we can still withdraw our money, we can still swipe our cards, and transactions aren't held up.
That's true.
Makes sense now.
Yeah.
Makes sense. This is quite intriguing, right? Because for many of us, I guess, we're not exposed to IT as an industry. We're not exposed to understanding, some of the finer details, as you've said, about the opportunities that exist within some of these markets. What piqued your interest?
So the interest to wanna do my own thing or start a company was that, again, with that, because the work that we do is project-based, there is no need a lot of times for companies to actually go and hire 50 people permanently. So that's where I've picked that gap, because I'm sure you might have heard a couple of other financial institutions retrenching people. I was one of those that was retrenched twice. And I then went and worked for a few other international consulting companies. And while I was there, my main drive, I started to want to know how is it that they are getting their business? How are they running their business? Because a lot of these companies have got, we don't have a lot of Black South Africans that are actually in that space. So me being a South African person, I can be able to give that opportunity to a South African youth who is unemployed, who doesn't know what testing is about. Last year, I've just launched what we call Rofane Academy.
Okay.
We got ourselves registered with MICT CETA. So the dream for that was to onboard young South Africans, upskill them in software testing in the different streams. Then we can be able to place them in our market space. So I started.
That's huge, Rofhiwa, and I don't think we should just slide over it, because it is something so significant. You're transferring skills, you're creating employment, and also you're building capacity within an industry that has a real shortage of these skills.
Yes.
What have your experiences been? What have you noticed? Do we have the talent in South Africa? Sometimes that's often the excuse that we don't have enough talented Black youth in the IT space, but you're clearly seeing something different.
Yeah, I think my biggest or my vision is to try and bridge that gap, because there's quite a lot of youth that are unemployed. So we've got youth that are coming up straight from varsity, and we've got youth that are someone who's just got matric. We the vision now, or the drive now, is to try and tap into universities, get some of the students in the local universities, bring them in, train them, and obviously place them. So last year, we've only taken few. A reason for that is my aim is not only to train and let you go, but is to train. Once you're qualified, I can be able to absorb you and give you employment, permanent employment within the company.
Makes sense.
So yeah, that's where I am.
If you've just joined us, we are in conversation with an amazing entrepreneur who is not only aiding and assisting big businesses to actively participate in a world of technology, but as you've heard, is also helping to develop and contribute to skills. I'm joined in studio by the MD of Rofane Consulting, Rofhiwa Netshitangani, who joins us in studio today to tell us more about his journey. Rofhiwa, I want us now to perhaps, shift gears to talk about your entrepreneurial journey. As you've described, you were once employed. They asked you about your 5-year plan. You said, hey, I'm just here to work. Yes. But you've since transitioned into being an entrepreneur, even creating employment for other people, which speaks volumes. And as we know, the journey of entrepreneurship is not easy. The fact that your business has made it to 5 years is significant in itself. But talk to us about some of the key lessons you've learned in building a business, building a consultancy, partnering with people, enhancing relationships, and maybe even have to let go of certain relationships at some point.
So, the learning never stops.
Yeah.
What I can say to you right now is that I don't have it all figured out, just like other people think. My biggest fear is failure. So when I started the company, I got a mentor, partnered with other companies. I got myself enrolled in some of the EST programs to help upskill myself and also to make sure that I'm able to run the company effectively as an entrepreneur. So those are some of the challenges that I've actually come across.
Has it been a lonely journey?
Funny enough, I've had a lot of support. Sometimes they say some people don't, and you might not understand what you're going through. So just to have somebody sitting next to you and just sitting there and just be quiet is good enough. So I've had a lot of support because not everybody understands the mechanism and how we actually get our job done. But I must say I've had quite a lot of support from friends, from family, and yeah.
I must say that's so refreshing to hear, right? Because we often know the stresses that entrepreneurs carry, and to walk that journey alone is never comfortable. So the fact that you have support is something significant. So kudos and shout out to those who are around you and supporting you in your business. On that note, what I'm also keen to understand is, I guess, your learnings as an entrepreneur when it comes to hiring people, equipping people with skills, and sometimes losing them. Because managing people can be a very difficult aspect in comparison to technology. AI is just all head. But people, you need to manage your heart too.
That's true. And
how's that been for you?
It's been, I must say, it's been an interesting journey for me. I don't regret it. It takes a lot. There's a lot of advice that one needs, but I think that I started off on the right foot. I always say to some of my friends that I hang around with, or when they're asking me, but I want to get into this business. I'm straight from varsity. What do I need to do? And my answer to them has always been, I'm going to give an example of a taxi driver. There is the guy that owns a taxi. He started by umages. Nah, then he got to a point where he bought his own taxi, and then before you know it, they are multiplying, and he's now running a successful taxi business. So that's the more or less my story, because I started off at the bottom. I was employed, and now I think it becomes very personal, because I know what it feels to be an employee. When they're sharing with me their frustrations, I'm able to understand that. And when they're saying I've got a challenge of this script is not running, I'm able to sit with them and say, come on, let's figure it out. Let's do this. Because I've been there, I've done it, and I'm still doing it.
Would you define yourself as being successful?
That's I think I'm still on the way, but yes.
Still on the way. And maybe you can take us in to understand how it is you define success. Maybe it's not just the business, but there's other aspects to it too.
I feel like there's still quite a lot that the company can do. There's still quite a lot of things that we can be able to do, and we are on that journey to doing that. Like I was saying, I'd like Rofane to become recognized Black-owned enterprise in South Africa. I would like to assist more in curbing unemployment. There are a lot of youth that are still unemployed. One life at a time, one life at a day, during a day. Yeah. So we currently putting together processes. How can we be involved? How can we make testing as as a career be known, as opposed to being just a little module that you study on your computer science or your information technology. So that's why I said there's still a lot of room for growth.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Rofane partner with some of the international brands and go global. So I'm saying right now we are successful, but we're not yet there.
Got you.
It's a journey.
There's still room for improvement.
There's still a lot of room for improvement.
You said one of my favorite words, partnerships.
Yes.
Because that's what we're about here at Kaya 959, making sure that we never know who's listening, who's watching, who might be able to partner with you in different ways. Maybe share some details as to what kind of partnerships you're looking for, whether it be funding, mentorship and support for some of the entrepreneurs and young students that you're taking in, or, maybe some acquisitions and partnerships that you're looking for. But the future of Rofane, what does it need, and who might be able to reach you? And you can share your contact details too.
All right. So if you look at software testing, there's what we call software development lifecycle, meaning that when before an application is developed, you need to get a group of people together. I want to formulate those partnerships. There is a company that is offering software development out there. There is a company that is offering training and development. There is somebody that says, I want to fund these projects that these guys are doing. There are a lot of marketing companies out there that can help, get Rofane Consulting as a brand be known everywhere, so that we can be able to reach our target market.
Gotcha.
By so doing, we will be able to employ a lot more people than where we are right now.
100%. Yeah. And for those who want to get in touch, especially parents or the cool aunts in the family like me who want everyone to get into digital skills, help us understand what's the criteria to be part of the program that you're running, what additional skills that you might need, and how we can prepare ourselves as youth. I
think we've got a lot of information on our website. Our contact details are on our website. It's www.rofane.co.za. We are there on LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm not sure if we are on Twitter. I'm not a social media person.
If not, we'll find you. Yeah. We'll make sure you are. That's what our listeners do.
But on all those platforms, it's Rofane Consulting. You can reach out to us. I've got a very strong team that support me. They'll be able to answer any of the other questions that you guys might have. You're more than welcome to call us in the office. We'll gladly assist in answering all your questions.
Got you. Yeah. Rofhiwa, I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation because I'm sure many of our listeners will also be able to reflect. You've shared so much passion, so much authenticity, and so much hunger and drive to do so much more within the realm of software testing and of course, digital skills, as well as the era of the fourth industrial revolution for a country like South Africa, which some might say we've fallen behind. But the truth is, with the potential you've unlocked in entrepreneurs, in yourself, through your business, you've been able to highlight the fact that there's ongoing growth opportunities here. And as we close off with, I am hoping that you can indulge us into your vision, not only for South Africa as a key player in the realm of technology in the world, but most importantly, how you see our youth, your children, and our people really just having an intimate relationship with technology to a point where we ourselves become innovators of great applications that solve for solutions in our country.
Right. On that note, you raised something very important there. So people talk about AI, people talk about 4IR.
And it's a foreign concept, right? For some of us, we think it's threatening our jobs.
Yeah. And we have actually, ever since the start of Rofane, been trying basically to align ourselves with that. AI in the work that we're doing, if it's into what we call test automation. So the type of youth that we currently training is not only to go there and click a button, but we're teaching them to get to a point wherein they automate this business processes for our clients. Yes, some people says we might lose our job. I don't see jobs being lost, because all we're doing is just upskilling and just to keep up with fast-paced application development that is being done. So we get our business processes optimized, and through our testing, performance automation. That's the type of people that I'm trying to to get into Rofane. Those are the type of people that we're looking for to grow Rofane and assist our clients.
100%. I get it. In my mind, I'm thinking, why pack the box when you can create the program to do it for you at a faster pace and improve productivity in the country as well. Rofhiwa, Kozimnene, Ndolibwa Ngamanda. I'm brushing up my vendor just to make sure that we say things the right way. But on that note, as you've heard, that's where we leave it for today's edition and episode of Kaya Biz CEO Plug, our special edition of conversations where we speak to innovative entrepreneurs and leaders in South Africa's business society who are themselves making an impact in the communities that they serve. As you've heard, it's all about technology, all about actively participating in the fourth industrial revolution, and don't let it happen to you. But as Rofhiwa has highlighted, be a part of it by learning the necessary skills, ensuring that you have the necessary partnerships, and making sure that your businesses adapt to this new innovative technology that we're moving into. That's where we leave it for today with my guest, Rofhiwa Netshitangani, the Managing Director of Rofane Consulting.